everyone! This week I'm going to be showing you how to make a very simple and delicious loaf of artisan bread. Now this recipe is only 5 ingredients and it's completely vegan. Now this is my favorite recipe, so I'm really excited to share it with you all. So let's get started. For this recipe, we're going to first make a starter, which will give our bread more depth of flavor. First, pour a little bit of the warm water over the yeast. Stir and then let this rest on the counter for a couple minutes. Next, in a large bowl, add the bread flour, whole wheat flour, yeast, and the rest of the water. Stir to combine. Cover your bowl with a lid or a clean kitchen towel. We're going to let this ferment on the counter for 1 hour. If you'd like, you can let it rest for up to 4 hours on the counter or overnight in the fridge for even more flavor. Now that our starter has had time to develop, we're going to finish making our dough. Once again, pour the warm water over the yeast. Stir and let rest for a couple minutes. Add the yeast to the bowl with the starter, then add the bread flour and salt. Use a bench scraper to combine. If you don't have a scraper, a rubber spatula or your hand will work. We're going to knead this for 8 minutes. Make sure to flour your surface and dough often with just a little bit of flour. To knead your dough, fold the dough over like this. Then, using the heels of your hands, roll the dough forward while pushing it down some. Don't push down too hard or you'll tear up your dough. Once you're done kneading, lightly oil a large bowl. Place your dough in the bowl and cover with either a lid or a clean kitchen towel. Leave the dough on the counter for 1 hour to ferment. Our dough has been fermenting for an hour, so it's time to punch it down. You want to get out the CO2 that has been building up in your dough because too much will kill your yeast. Next, we're going to fold our dough. Take the right side and fold it over past the center. Then, fold the left side over. Turn the dough and fold each side in again. Place the dough back in the oiled bowl, folded side down. Once again, we're going to let this ferment for 1 hour. It's time to shape our dough and give it one final proof before baking. Lightly flour your work surface. Punch down your dough again, but more gently this time. To shape into a round, pick up the edges of the dough and fold them into the center. Then, flip your dough over. Cup your hands and pull the dough towards you. The dough should move about 1 inch, and you want to be sure you're not tucking your hands under the dough. If there are any large bubbles on the surface, gently deflate them. In a smaller bowl, place a clean kitchen towel. We're going to flour this pretty well because if the dough gets stuck to the towel, it'll mess up our shape when we bake it. Place the dough seam side up in the floured bowl. Cover with a clean towel and proof for 45 minutes to 1 hour. While the dough is proofing, set up your oven. If you have a cast iron, a pizza stone, or a Dutch oven, put that in the oven. If you don't have any of these, you can cook your bread on a sheet tray. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 475 Fahrenheit or 245 Celsius. My bread has been proofing for 45 minutes. You can see that it's risen a lot, and when I press it with my finger, it's springing back slowly. So this is ready to bake. I'm going to pull my cast iron out of the oven and sprinkle it with some cornmeal to prevent my bread from sticking. You can also use semolina. If you're using a pizza stone, you'll want to do this on an upside down sheet tray and then slide the bread onto your stone carefully. If you're baking on a sheet tray, go ahead and do this on it. Now, take your bowl with the dough and gently flip it onto your tray. The side of the dough with the seam is now face down. To score the dough, take a sharp knife and cut a cross on the dough. You want to cut 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. Put your dough in the oven, and then with the door just very slightly open, use a spray bottle with water to spray inside. Close the oven quickly. This steam will help the bread to form a nice crust. We're going to bake our bread at 475 for 15 minutes and then lower the temperature. After 15 minutes, I'm going to rotate my bread so it'll cook evenly and spray the inside of my oven again. Set the oven to 425 and cook for another 20 minutes. Once the bread is done, remove it from the oven and place the loaf on a rack to cool. Wait at least 10 minutes before cutting into it. Okay, so there we have it. That is this week's loaf of finished bread. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I love hearing from y'all, so if you do make this bread, definitely post a picture of it and tag me in it. I am at Bread with Becca on both Twitter and Instagram. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week with another video on how to make bread. Bye!